you ever felt.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd like to begin by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who intervened in our affairs, in a well-made man, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi, the long-awaited one, that we had been waiting for thousands and even trillions of years to come. He is one that was predicted that would come to perfect the human being. Think on that. That the originator of the heavens and the earth found within himself a defect. And he went about a course of perfecting the human being. And that one that is the perfected one is Master Fard Muhammad. And Master Fard Muhammad was born of a woman just like you and I. He was taught by his father for 42 years of his life, into the all the way into the back into the mind of the originator. He was being prepared for a mission that he had to come and raise you and I up from our grave of ignorance. And I bear witness that he found one. He appeared in Detroit, Michigan, July 4th, 1930, looking for one in whom he could deposit a weighty word, one that would receive a message and take that message and use it to resurrect a dead people. And that person is none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad was a man who only went up to the 4th grade of school. And I want us to think about this. And whenever I begin my salutation, I always take my time and just really focus on this because it's so very important. That he only went up to the 4th grade of education. Allah took him to the side and he taught him for 3 years and 4 months into the knowledge of God, into the knowledge of self, into the knowledge of the enemy of God and self, and into the time of what must be done. He raised him up as his messenger among us for the black man and woman in America. And then, after he raised him up as a messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad began to grow. And he began to grow until eventually he grew up into God Almighty. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he departed from us, was made into the Christ. He was raised up to the Christ, the one who has power. I want you to think about this. This is a human being just like you and I. A human being who didn't have the benefit of as much education, formal education, as you and I. Who is made into a God. Think about that. How do you know he's a God? Because God makes gods. The one that we're looking at today in front of us. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is absolutely a God.
That's right.
He said, you ain't never met no man like me in America. And I would go as far to say, you ain't never met a man like him anywhere on the planet today.
Come on now.
So that's how you know that he met a God, and he was a God. Because of the things that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is able to do.
That's right.
But we don't just look at what he's able to do because it's just nice and he's just beautiful and he's articulate and charismatic. We're looking at our potential. Not just the man's potential, but the woman's potential as well. In the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I'd like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. All praises due to Allah. How are you all doing today?
Fine.
All praises due to Allah. I too am doing fine. I thank you for coming out today. I just want to start by saying that this talk that I would like to give to you all has been really just kind of germinating in me over the last couple of months. And I really don't like to do a lot of public speaking, even though that I will. I'm more of a teacher, not necessarily a lecturer. But I just thought that it was time for this talk to be had. But the simple fact that, you know, I think that the black man, especially in this day, has really been getting a very bad name, a very bad rap.
Yes,
And you know, just really pondering on, looking at, studying, focusing on the black man, I realized that even myself didn't have the proper understanding of the value and the beauty of the black man. And for, you know, women, you know, who may not say it enough, I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you for being in 2019. So my lecture is entitled The Beauty of the Believing Black Man. The black man is God.
That's right.
Would you all agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
All praises due to God. And how this talk came about is that I had just kind of been focusing on looking at the brothers. Now, you know, you all can bear witness to me with me that the black man works hard.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been looking at, I looked at my sons, and I looked at the fact that these are young black men, and that they had been, and they work hard. They take care of their wives and their children. They work, I'm talking about 10, 12 hours a day, you know, and don't complain. Then come home and deal with the children, and I'm like, this is amazing, absolutely amazing. My sons, that they don't require their wives to work, and I'm like, a black man in their 20s that has that mindset, that's something that I need to look at. All praise is due to Allah. And then I was looking at all the men and boys in my life, and ones that I know, and looking at how hard you all work. You know, how much you put into this thing. And we have to look at that. And I think that people need to know. The whole concept of black men being lazy, black men not having aim, purpose, not having drive, not having focus.
Don't take care of
That's
children.
don't take care of their children. That's a myth.
That's right.
That is a myth.
That's right.
I mean, if you look at, you just probably walk down the street, you'll see a black man, you know, he may not be in the same state that you all are in, but that black man may be walking with his little children, with his pants sack,
That's right.
walking down the street, you know? So we have to relook at that again. So I looked at Brother Darrell. Brother Darrell works, you know, 12, 14 hours a day. And I'm thinking to myself, my God, man, how do you put in that much time to work? What manner of man is that could do something like that? I mean, I'm not talking about sitting at an office, you know, at a desk, hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, that's beautiful. What gives them that drive to do that? You know, I know a brother that works 2 full-time jobs. How do you work 2 full-time jobs? What motivates you? Where do you get the energy to work 2 full-time jobs? That's something to be looked at.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something behind a brother that would do something like that. Now, brothers, I want to just tell you that I salute you.
That's right.
Because you all are absolutely, absolutely fabulous.
Right. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
We're going to get into our talk in just a second, and I'm going to go a little deeper in explaining why I use the title The Beauty. Because, you know, normally we talk about beauty as it relates to women.
Yeah.
But the beauty of the believing black man. Now, I just want to say that the black man needs to be admired, needs to be respected, but yet more than respected. Now, I'm gonna say this, and I know that some sisters may have a problem with this, because, you know, we had the Me Too movement, we had the women's movement, but this is something that needs to be stated, and it needs to be stated openly and in the public.
Go ahead and say.
Come on,
Say
say
it.
that the black man needs to be referenced.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know what reverence means? Reverence, we call our pastors reverend. It's okay to call them reverend. But see, when I say reverence, people have an issue with that because they think that that is akin to worship. But yet, there is a level of worship that the black man deserves.
That's right.
I want us to think about that. Now, reverence, the word, it has to do with deep respect. Deep respect, not just respect. That means to look again, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but reverence, deep respect for all that he does. So, with that being said, not only does he deserve reverence, he also deserves praise, and he also deserves honor. So, with that being said, I would like to go ahead and get off into the talk that we have for today. And we have this beautiful black man who is an FOI in the Nation of Islam, a God. Now, the beauty of the believing black man, I'm gonna talk about it in 3 phases. And the first thing I want to talk about is the beauty of the believing black man, and I would like to talk about who is the black man really? Who are you? Who is a believing black man? What constitutes you to be a believing black man? And then what is beauty, and why do I say that the black man is beautiful? This brother over here to the right of the screen is our dear brother, Brother Robert, student minister, Robert Muhammad of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know if you all are familiar with him, but this dear brother was, he was murdered. Just straight up, he was murdered by the devil. He was born on September 5th, 1974. And this dear brother, beautiful brother, was murdered on he was born on September 6th of 1974, and he was murdered on September 5th of 2014, one day shy of his 40th birthday. This dear brother left to mourn his wife, Yariva Muhammad, and 8 children. 8. 4 boys and 4 girls. She was pregnant with the baby when this happened. Absolutely. We need justice for our brother. And this is a picture of our dear brother. So I just want to show you the beauty. What kind of family in 2014, when this dear brother was murdered, with having 8 children, working, have his wife at home? You can't tell me that that's not a beautiful black man that is willing not only to live for his family, but to lay down his life for his family. So, I want to also speak about how is beauty manifested in a man. Look at that man right there. Ain't he pretty? He's beautiful and pretty. Okay, so I want to talk about the great operation, the coming of God, the resurrection of the black man, the black God, the secret to the knowledge of God. And love is the creative force. How is beauty manifested in a man? That's beauty personified. I want us to drink in those beautiful features. And then the beauty of the black man revealed. Next, I want to talk about the love of the believing black man. You know, the believing black man loves, right? He
Yes, ma'am.
loves deeper than any other man on the planet.
Yes, ma'am.
The black man's love for his woman,
Mm-hmm.
the black man's love for his children,
Mm-hmm.
and the black man works hard for that which he loves. Okay, beautiful black man, right? That's a beautiful black man. I'm just saying, that's the original man.
That's right.
Now, I don't want you all to get upset with me because I found this beautiful black man here. You'll find a lot of, you're gonna see that I use a lot of images of beautiful black men, but it's not just beauty on the outside. So I don't want you to get it twisted. Because when I see him, that's a beautiful black man, Brother Derek. I'm just saying, he is the original man. There he is. All praises due to Allah. But I don't want you to worry, because when I see this black man, it's not the outward expression that is the most beautiful thing about the black man. What you say? Like,
She said the most
it ain't the outward. I mean, you know, it's nice to look at, but that's not what attracts women.
No.
Okay, I want you to get it
Yep,
straight.
that's right.
The thing that attracts the woman is that what's inside, not the
Right.
muscles on the outside.
Right.
But this muscle right here. The power of his mind is what attracts the black woman. So don't get it
Outside, don't get it
twisted. Do not get it twisted. Okay. So this brother in this picture is beautiful on the outside, but it's not what makes him beautiful. We may see the outside, the muscles, and we may see that beautiful black skin, but what ultimately attracts the black woman to the black man is the power of his mind. And I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, because it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I used to tell my sons that when they were coming up, and then they would, talk about girls or whatever they like and things like that. And I used to tell them, I say, you know why the girls like you? I say, you think it's your muscles. I say, but it's that thing, that intangible thing that they can't see, and that's that belief. That's that Islam that they are connected to.
Mm-hmm.
Your exterior is just something that they interface with immediately, but what it is that they're really attracted to is that inward man.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told them that they should develop the inward man. And then when they develop the inward man, they can attract any woman that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Y'all bear me with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I just want you to understand, it's not the biceps, it's not the triceps, it's not the six-pack. It's this muscle right here. So the black man is God, no doubt about it. He made himself from the triple darkness of space and made that beautiful black skin that you see there. But you know, this brother, as beautiful as he is, this is where he's most beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Come on now.
That's that same brother right there. So this man is beautiful. The black man is God because he is like the originator.
Mm-hmm.
Not just because he is out, but look, he has his beautiful daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the originator because he's what? He's the maintainer.
That's right.
Isn't Allah the maintainer?
Yes.
He's like the originator because he's the what? He's the sustainer. All praises. Would you all agree with me, brothers?
Come on now.
All praises due to Allah. He's like the originator because he's the what? The protector.
Come on now.
Am I telling the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. He's a what?
Provide.
A provider. Absolutely. He is what? Beneficent. Sisters, if y'all don't have a black man, y'all need to get one right away. Come on now, you need to get you a black man today. All praises due to Allah. So let's see what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says in the message to the black man. It says, Allah created things beautiful. So if Allah created it as beautiful. Now when we look at the grafted man, he ain't so beautiful. Not at all. And he just don't look the same as that brother right there. He don't look like that. But it said Allah made all things beautiful. So that's an Allah made man.
Come on now.
But we cannot improve upon the nature in which Allah God has created all beautiful things. Yet we try.
Mm-hmm.
We messing up. We cannot substitute the original beauty with with artificial creations. Yet we try.
Mm-hmm.
So let us realize the power of Allah, that without Him we cannot exist, and make obeisance to Allah through our prayers to Him. All praise is due to Allah. This is to the black man. So when Allah makes it, it's beautiful.
That's
So
right.
you don't have to worry about it. Did Allah make you?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
Allah make you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right now. So you're beautiful.
That's right.
Now let's talk about this original black man. Allah made him, right? And so in Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2, Master Farah Muhammad asked his student the question: tell us the mental power of a real devil. Now the devil is the opposite of God, right?
That's right.
So, answer. It says the mental power of a real devil is nothing in comparison with the original man. So his mind ain't even the same. Y'all think that white man's smart, right?
No.
You know, he said, no, I don't think he's smart. He ain't smart. All he uses is what?
The same
Tricks and lies. So once you realize he's using tricks and lies, then that's half the game right there. Now he says he only has 6 ounces of brain, while the original man has 7 1/2 ounces of brain, which are original. I'm just going to tell you for the record that that means something else other than the gray matter that is in your inside of your cranium, because we have more than 6 ounces of brain. If we have 6 ounces of brain, we might be, I don't know, chicken. That sounds good. Yes. So that means something else other than that. So it says the devil has 6 ounces of brain and they are grafted. The devil's physical power is less than 1/3 that of the original man. So you already know you don't want to fight. As soon as you stand up next to that white man, you already know the fight is already over. Because he has 1/3 less power than you have.
Come on now.
Okay? Than that of the original man. The devil is weak bone, weak blood, because he is grafted from the original. Therefore, his mental and physical power is much weaker than the original man. Don't you all feel good today that Allah created you an original man? Praise be to Allah. So before we go forward, we have to go back just a little bit to lay the base, so that way I can make my argument here about that the black man is beautiful.
That's right.
And I'm not just talking about on the outside. So in the beginning, Allah was self-created from an atom of life over 82 trillion years ago. He was self-created. After he created himself, he studied or analyzed himself. And then he discovered many things within himself. Now, you see this narrative of the timeline of the self-creation of Allah. I want you all to also think that this is the same way you create yourself and recreate yourself. There is no difference between how he did it and how you do it, except that we don't have 82 trillion years to do it, and you got your 120, that's all you got, so you got to work fast, okay? So don't take all the 40, 50 years trying to figure out what you need to do. Do it now. Do it today. Okay, so what did he discover in himself? He discovered that there was an imperfection in himself. That's the same thing that we do. When we look inside of ourselves, we find out there's an imperfection. Right. Now the question is, what are we going to do about it? That's the question. And so the original God said, we're going to solve this problem. We're going to set up a situation where we're going to make the creation perfected. He also found that within himself that he had a second self called a woman. And then he also found that he had light within himself. Now it's not limited to those things, 3 things that he found. We're just not taught that there were other things that he found, but it was obvious that he found other stuff in himself. Why? Because we have a universe here that has more than just those 3 things in it, right? So everything that exists came from our originator, right? So therefore, that if you just look around, you find out that he created more. He found more things in himself. Now, however, the originator was lonely. Think about that. Even the originator was lonely. Because he was the only being that existed. So he brought forth from himself what? His second self. Now, black men, if you all don't have a wife, I don't know who doesn't have, but you have to bring the wife out of yourself. So you have to know yourself in order to bring the wife out of yourself, right? All right? So if you're looking for a mate, if you're lonely, you better start working on yourself and bringing her out. Okay. Now, what was the original God's relationship to the woman? Let's talk about this. Let's see if this relationship may be somewhat similar to the relationship you have with your woman. Now, this graphic that I have here is a graphic of the earth and the sun. Okay? That's how it looks once you get past the atmosphere. Now, of course, we said that the woman is the first act of creation of Allah's, his first act of creation was bring the woman out of himself. Okay? So that's what we have to do when we take a mate onto ourselves. If we're lonely, we have to begin the process of self-development. And then we, study ourselves and we bring from out of ourselves our second self, somebody who complements the particular attributes that you have to make you complete. And then that person would help you to meet your objectives in life. That's how it works. But see, he didn't just want the woman to just come help him, just to come help him. He had to do something. The Most High Muhammad said, when you travel, wherever you go, if you have a wife, you need to bring her back again. So the originator did the same thing. The originator said he was going to give her the son. Okay? So he put the son into you so that she would have somewhere to be. Right? Don't you want to make sure your lights are turned on in your house so your wife would have lights in her home? Well, the originator turned on the lights and he pays them every trillion years or whatever it is, the time when the bill comes due. So, what else did he do? He gave her a home. He gave her the entire planet Earth as a home. What kind of man is that? Isn't that what you all do? You all put your wives in a home? Well, the originator gave her a home, biggest one we know, called the Earth. Now, moving on down the line of time, we had an incident that happened on the planet, which caused the God to have to go into hiding. There was a scientist approximately 66 trillion years ago that had an evil intent. He wanted to destroy the planet because the people at that time began to speak a different dialect. And he wanted them to all speak the same dialect. So what he did is that he drilled a hole in the planet, almost all the way to the middle. And he put dynamite in it. And then when he put dynamite in this thing, he tried to blow it up and kill everybody. He killed himself, he killed many of his family members, but he didn't kill everybody. The God at that time went into hiding. And so when he went into hiding, the knowledge of God became a mystery. And the question is where did God hide? Where did he go? We're going to answer that today. The beauty of the believing black man. I took my time getting these nice graphics. These some nice graphics, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
So beautiful black men. I don't even know who this brother is, but shout out to this brother for wearing and representing the mighty, mighty nation of Islam. Okay. Once again, this beautiful black man. Drink those features in. And I'm telling you, this man is 85 years old. Think about it. Do you know anybody 85 years old? Does everybody know anybody, somebody 85 years old? Okay. I want you to think about how these people at 85 years old looks. Okay. Do you know 85 years old? He'll be 86 in May. You know that's like 4 years from being 90 years old. Do you know that he just spoke for 4 hours a couple of weeks ago, standing up here? What fuels something like that? Where is he getting that from? just something on the outside.
No.
So I want us to think about that. Where does he get his beauty from? That's exactly where he gets it from. So I want us to think about this. What is beauty? It says the beauty is the quality or aggregate. That means like the sum of, of the qualities of a person or a thing that gives pleasure to the senses or pleasurably exalts the mind and spirit. So when we look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, when you see him, look at him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could say just look at him because, you know, he's in front of you or he's saying something, but he's showing you a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
To be like this, to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
Male and female. So when he's speaking, you listen to him. He's giving us the guidance that we need in order to be like him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not there set up somewhere away from us so that we can worship him and think that he's the only one that can be like this. We all have this potential,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all have this potential, but we have to go to the source that he went to. Now, in the Self-Improvement Study Guide, he says that belief makes you beautiful. He says that when a so-called, now I want to just say this. In 1997, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan opened up the MGT class to the FOI. And he let the FOI hear a talk that he gave to the MGT. And he put this into the study guide number 19. And if he gave it to us, it was for a purpose, because he wanted us to see something. So although he's talking about a sister here, or sisters here, he's really talking about us all. He says, and when a so-called pretty sister comes into the mosque, you give her a hard time, don't you? Who does she think she is? Don't screw up your face because she appears a certain way. Allah God looks all the way in. While someone's outer appearance may please you, or me, it may be ugly as sin in the sight of Allah God. All of you that believe are beautiful. So if you want to know how to be beautiful, it's your belief. All of you, both male and female, that believe are beautiful. So if anybody in your life ever told you were ugly, you need to reevaluate that. Because if Allah made you, already give you,
That's right.
and then if you believe, that's beauty on top of you.
Mm-hmm.
He has the power to take your belief and turn it into absolutely undescribable beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Undescribable beauty. And you know, Allah has blessed me. They say women, and at a certain point in my life, I didn't like to really talk about my age because, it keeps going up. That's something that never goes down. Age. Okay? But Allah has blessed me. I just recently made my 53rd birth anniversary. And I am so it keeps going. 53. And I'm thankful to Allah. I ain't mad. I looked at myself, I said, you know what, sir? I ain't mad. That's what I say. Oh, praise to Allah. I can improve, but I ain't mad. Because back in the day, people at this age, they were ready. They had one foot on a banana peel and the other foot in the grave. And so they were at 53 when we was coming up. So I thank Allah, not only for how to eat to live, I thank Him for the religion of Islam is taught to us by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because it absolutely can stave off the grave, it can stave off time. I mean, it's such a blessing to be living in this day, and don't you forget it.
Come on now.
Praise be to Allah. So belief makes you beautiful. He continues to say, you can come here ugly, pimply face, and hair so short you can't twist it with a twist. He said, I don't care how people think The moment you say you believe in Allah God and start trying to be what Allah God has asked you to be, He turns the beauty of your faith into indescribable charisma that makes you draw all people unto yourself. It's true.
Yeah.
I bear you witness. This is true. And people don't even know what it is, like I was telling my son. They don't even know what it is, but they know it's something different that just keeps pulling them towards you. Now they're just inching towards you. They don't even know what to say. They just want to be in your presence because it's that beauty of your faith that just keeps drawing. That's magnetism. On purpose. And then he said it's true. It's true, it's true. And I bear witness. He said you can have the prettiest face, but if your faith is not there, you drive people away from you.
Right.
You know that pretty sister, or that pretty, that good looking brother. And you like, you can't stand that Negro. They just think they all that. They just love it. Okay. So, what is belief? Now, so if we say that belief is what we need in order to be beautiful, because everybody wants to look good, right? Everybody wants to be beautiful. I know brothers. They will go in the gym, and the only thing they'll work on is arm machines. Because they want to have those guns, right? I'm talking about knocking the hypocrite out. Won't mess with the legs be skinny, arms big, chest. There's a brother in the gym, I'm like, you look like a Tasmanian devil. I'm thinking to myself, his top all big and swollen, his legs skinny. I'm like, brother. So anyway, it's a Latino, so maybe he was just really built that way. But however, nothing to say about the Latino shapes. But anyway, the point is that, yeah, I know you want to look good on the outside, but it's beauty. The beauty is your beauty. So what is it? The definition is, one, a state or habit of mind, this is belief, which trust or confidence is placed in some person or thing. Okay? So, we of course know that it's a law, but I want you to think about it. It's a state or a habit of mind, because Allah comes to give us His mind. Think about that. He just takes His mind, picks it up, and if you open your brain up, He'll sit His mind right into yours.
Come on now.
But you have to have what? It is a state of mind in which you have confidence. But see, because we know that you can't necessarily get to God without a teacher, without a messenger, He gives you a messenger to help, bring you into the mind of God. So you have to have confidence in the teacher that He puts in front of you. Okay? How can you learn something if you don't trust your teacher?
Right.
Every time your teacher tells you something, you say, that ain't true. You think you ever learn anything? Absolutely not. But that's how we follow our messenger and our minister with doubt and suspicion. But let me just go back. Look at that man. He didn't have plastic surgery. Look at him. He must know something.
Gotta know something, right?
I mean, we looking rusty and dusty at 50. So come on, let's follow him and have confidence and trust in him. It says something that is accepted or considered to be true or held as an opinion, something believed. And then lastly, it's the conviction of the truth. Convicted by the truth. When you're convicted by the truth, what happens? Yes, and you live by that truth which you say that you believe. Okay. So it's a conviction of the truth of some statement or the reality of some being or phenomena, especially based on an examination of the evidence. Once again, I take you back here. All you have to do is look at him, listen to him, go where he says go. And is there anything that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that didn't benefit us? No. That didn't make our lives better? No. Can you think of one thing? No. So you've been doing self-experimentation on yourself because you know that Even though you say he tells the truth, you did something opposite to him. And what happened? Yes, you fell in the ditch, and he said, get back up, come on, let's try it again. So, I like this Venn diagram because it says belief is the intersection of information, which when you come into the Nation of Islam, unlike some other organizations, not to say anything about Church of Scientology, but you don't have to buy no classes. You can take $100, maybe $200 at the most, and go buy all the messengers books, go buy all the ministers books, and you have all the information you need right here. Day one. So, information. And then at some point you gotta have faith. Because when you came in here, you didn't know. So you take your information, right? And then you have faith, but faith is just not blind. It's based on something. It's based on what you see. You come in here, you see, people that have shiny faces, that are looking good, that, that are thinking good. And so you're like, okay, well, I see it. Well, maybe I can believe it. And so then once you take that information and you have that faith, and then at the intersection between those two is your belief. So it's not spooky. So we're telling you exactly how to build your belief in a thing. Okay? Which is going to ultimately, from out of this space right here, that's just like the womb. Become a beautiful believer will grow up out of this womb. Okay, so beauty appearance. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad talks about it in How to Eat to Live. Eating to live is very important in this day because everything in our atmosphere is designed to poison us. Our water, our air, our food. Everything that you consume is everything, even radio waves, telephones, TVs, everything. Your atmosphere, the enemy has totally destroyed the atmosphere. That's why Allah has come. That's right. He has to come, and the technology that he has on the wheel will absolutely clean up the water, the air, the soil, the atmosphere. Everything will be made new again. Okay? So, with that being said, you have to live long enough to see it. So he gives you how to eat to live, so that you can live potentially to be 1,000 years old. I know y'all think that they say, well, this ain't really like earth years, this must be 1,000 years, and they calculate dog years. There you go. They calculated. I want you to look up on your phone. I know you got your phone. Find out how many years in human years is 1,000 dog years. You got your phone? Turtles do. Sea turtles do live to be a long time. Yeah, trees. I went and saw the redwoods in California. Some of those trees they're 2,000 years old. They were little seedlings and saplings when Jesus was born. A tree. If you don't believe, you go look. Redwoods. Okay. Now, as he says here, the main purpose of this teaching, How to Live, is to prolong our lives. Beauty appearance is destroyed in us, not just by our facial appearance, but the most beautiful appearance about us, our characteristics, the way we act and practice, our way of life. We achieve one of the greatest beauties when we achieve the spiritual beauty and characteristics through practicing them. We achieve the spiritual beauty through practicing or carrying into practice the spiritual laws. We know that we have been made ugly by our enemies' rearing of our parents. We know that many of our people throughout the earth have been made ugly by not practicing culture that would beautify them. But we are blessed that God himself has visited us to guide us in his way. What people on the earth has God visited today? Think about it. Other than you and me here in America. How to Eat to Live, Book 1, pages 102 to 103. Now, beauty appearance, once again. This is the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's continuing in How to Eat to Live. But he says, the wisdom that he, Master Fard Muhammad, a live person, teaches us is the wisdom of the gods. And the wisdom of God. Think about that. Yeah, I didn't think that he was teaching us the wisdom of God, huh? Because we're not exercising and actualizing it. So we like, it's good teaching, black power stuff. No, it's the wisdom of God.
Right.
How do we know? Because we're watching somebody exercise the wisdom of God in our midst. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He's in a fight with who? Satan. And only a God can defeat a God.
That's right.
Okay? And have Satan defeated the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
No.
Absolutely not. So we're looking at an absolute God. He says it is supreme wisdom because it is above. And I want you all to listen to this because this is in the curriculum. And this is one of the main things about the new educational paradigm and the educational curriculum based on the supreme wisdom that we need to understand. If you need to find it, here it is right here. Speaking on the supreme wisdom. He said it is supreme wisdom because it is above and far ahead of what we have ever heard. And what we see practiced by others today. He said we should not obey that which is, he said, should not we obey that which is good for us when we are members of a nation of good? Why should we not practice that which is good for us? Why shouldn't we practice that? Why don't we practice it? We should. Praise be to Allah. So what is a believer? This is my dear brother, Imam Sultan Rahman Muhammad. And a believer, a mu'min, and a female is a mu'mina, and it's an Arabic term frequently referred in the Quran, meaning believer. Okay, it denotes a person who has complete submission to the will of Allah God and has faith firmly established in his heart, i.e., a faithful Muslim. This term, mu'min, is the preferred term in the Quran to describe monotheistic believers. So for those who are out there that may believe in other faith traditions, in Islam, it says that we judge them by their book. Okay? So if their book says that thou shalt not, then that's how we judge them. So if you have faithful, practicing Christians, you know what I'm saying? Because many of us came from out of the church. I like to say to people that I meet when they ask me if I've been Muslim all my life, and I would say that, I was, as they say, a revert. I accepted my own and to be myself. But I feel like now that I'm actually a better Christian than I was when I was professing the Christian faith, because I do now that which I professed then. And so, if a Christian really took the book and really followed it, because that's what we do. We are following the precepts of the Bible. That's what we're doing. We're not eating, scavengers. We don't eat swine. We don't, break any of the 10 Commandments. That's what we do. But many of our Christian brothers and sisters, like my dad says, it's a joke that he said one day, it just tickled me so much. He said, I'm broke just like the 10 Commandments. So the point is that means broke to pieces. So many of us, our brothers and sisters who say they believe in Christianity actually do not practice it. That's because they've been made, an interpretation has been made. Okay, so what is a believer? This is continuing on with explaining what a believer is. The following verse makes a distinction between a Muslim and a believer. And this is in the Surah Al-Hujurat, the apartments, 49 and 14. It says, the dwellers of the desert say, we believe, That's what they say, right? And God says, say, you believe not, but say we submit, and faith is not yet entered into your hearts. And if you obey Allah and His messenger, and if you obey Allah and His messenger, and if you obey Allah and His messenger, He will not diminish aught of your deeds. Surely Allah is forgiving, merciful. So, moving on to the second part. How is beauty manifested in the black man? The return of the black man. Okay. Now, this is coming from study guide number 2, building human potential. Okay? So there's human potential that is in us. Now we are, I said the return of the black man.
Come on now.
The return of the original man. Black man is here, but we have to return to the original man.
That's right.
So, with that being said, in building human potential, let's see how this beauty can be manifested. And it says here, in study guide number 2, building human potential number 6, it says read Holy Quran 96:1 through 5. And he asked the question, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, have you ever seen a clot? And I put this clot here. And this clot is actually blood, congealed blood from an abortion. Okay? There were some other things when I was looking it up, but I said that was a little graphic, so I'm trying to get as sterile as I could. But I want you to understand, it's congealed blood from an abortion. An abortion is when life is expelled from the womb of a mother, right? So if the womb, if the life would have stayed in the womb, it would have grown a human being. But see, when the clot was expelled, the potential of human being was also, halted at that point. All right? So he says, have you ever seen a blood clot? Was it beautiful to behold?
No.
No, it's pretty disgusting. And so that's what I want us to look at and think about. It says, is a nation of unlearned people a beautiful sight in the eyes of civilization? By what means does a clot develop into a complete human being? By what means must a people evolve into its beauty? Okay? So I want us to think about that. So coming into the mosque is a part of the faith. In the Quran, it goes over and over again and says that man is created and he develops stage after stage after stage. It talks about, and it says that about the first is being a clot, then there being bones in it, and then it talks about flesh, and it tells you that it comes forth from his mother's womb, complete yet incomplete. Then another phase, another process goes about where it goes from, crawling on all fours to standing up. And then it goes from standing up to, not knowing anything, like the Quran says, we're born not knowing. But then we have to learn, and so we develop by learning stage after stage after stage. And that's the same way with us. When we come into this mosque, the minister said Mosque Mariam is actually a womb. If you look at how the configuration is. He talks about the jetted off sides. He said those are fallopian tubes that are coming into the dome, which is a womb. And he said that when we go into the mosque, that we are just like, that clot. We have to get embedded into the uterus, embedded into the structure of the mosque so that we can begin to, develop.
Come on now.
And so it takes stage after stage after stage. And if we, by any chance, leave out of here, we become like an abortion.
Come on now. Think about it.
And aborted, as the minister said.
Hey.
Like a clot just on the ground. Where you once had potential to become a god, you just now a clot. So I want us to think about this. That this is the potential that we have. That clot right there has the potential of God in it. But that's the way it is, that when we don't take what, this process and go through it. What if a baby, once it got out the womb, all it didn't want to get up and walk? So it walks crawling around. You see grown men crawling around on all fours. You see how crazy that would look? But that's the equivalent of getting the knowledge of God and then just taking it and putting it on the shelf. We look like just a baby crawling around on all fours as an adult. But God has given us everything.
That's right.
All praises due to Allah. So what makes a beautiful society? According to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said a well-educated, cultured, and courteous people make a beautiful society when it's spiritual. Now we're going to break this down. Well-educated, okay? So that means that, you know, we can't watch a video here or there and think that we know.
Well-educated.
Say well-educated.
Come on now.
Culture. Yeah, YouTube. I'm waiting on my degree from YouTube. I'm telling you. I know I got a couple of YouTube degrees coming because I'm watching them videos. But I didn't. None.
YouTube PhD.
Yes, a PhD on YouTube University. So, well-educated culture. So, culture, you know, you can take that word in many different ways, but it means refinement. It means civilized culture. So what is a culture? As within science, when you want to grow something, cells, which all of us can be looked at as cells, you take the cells and you place them in a culture inside of a petri dish. Now, if you want that cell to grow and thrive, the culture has to be nutrient rich. Okay? It has to give that cell everything it needs to be successful in its growth. So the mosque is a culture. Okay? So when you put us inside the mosque and it has what you need to grow, you should become, you know, grow up into that which the cell is eventually going to grow into. So the mosque culture is very important in developing the human potential and developing the beautiful brothers and sisters, men and women. And so that's very important. And for us to have a nation of gods, a nation of beautiful people. We talk about the beautiful people society. That's us. But being beautiful and nasty is not sufficient. Being beautiful and bourgeois, you looking down on your people, that's not sufficient. You have to be beautiful and courteous. You know, and that's one thing the Muslims, that's a hallmark of a real Muslim. Real Muslims are very courteous. Very courteous. And you can tell them anywhere they go. You don't even have to say a word. When you see a brother open your door and you're just out and about, you're looking like, you know, and then you put it with a shiny face. And then you put it with, you know, neat appearance. He doesn't even have to have an FOI uniform on. He doesn't have to have a suit on. You automatically can start, oh, he probably is a Muslim. Or either he's been in contact or had a brush with Islam, because you can tell. You can tell it leaves its mark on you. So, as he said, it's a well-educated, cultured, and courteous people that make a beautiful society, but when it's spiritual. Okay? Which is the opposite of carnal. Okay? So, we could be very well-educated, cultured, and courteous, but yet be carnal. What do you think that makes? And that's like the elite class, right? Like the 10%. Those devils at the top, they're not mad. They don't act nasty when they see you.
No.
How you doing, Sadie? Can I get your door, Sadie? You know, they're very well educated. They're very cultured. Okay, they drink with their tea with their pinky up. And high noon. Okay. All right.
They go to the center.
Yeah, and those, you look at Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth be dressed to the nines, you heard? Queen Elizabeth be having all her stuff matching from all the way up to the hat. So you can't say that, you know, that she don't put it together good. She ain't all that good looking, but the point is that she got to put it together good. So, you know, some might say that she looks good or she's beautiful because she puts it together well, but spiritual. That's the activating element. You got to be spiritual. Okay? Now it says, good manners come from the civilized man who does not fail to do his duty. And you know what the duty is, right? What is the duty? The civilized, the uncivilized. Okay? All praises due to Allah. Message to the black man. So that's what makes us beautiful as a society. We've been given a charge to go out and take what we've learned in here and go give it to other people. That's right. Okay? So it's not enough that we stay up in a closed-in circle. We have to take it out. Because then you start getting all crazy and stuff when you just be insular and to yourself. You have to go out and share it with other people. So the coming of God. This is the next part. Hopefully I can get through the whole thing. If not, we may have to have round two. But I'm going to try real hard to get through the whole lecture. Okay, the coming of God. Now, Master Fard Muhammad, this is a picture of him reading what we're told is the Holy Quran. We say that he's a live person, okay? And he said, in the original rules of instructions to the MGT and GCC, and many of us, once we start unpacking that MGT and GCC, Muslim Girls Training, and General Civilization class. Do you think General Civilization is just for women?
No.
Absolutely not. Men need General Civilization as well.
Absolutely.
And not only can we say that it might be a class where you're taught into certain etiquette, but it also could be a class of people. Like, you know, you have high class, low class, you know, middle class. It could be either or. I don't know. I haven't been taught, but that's something to look at. And he said, the MGT and GCC, I can sit on top of the world. That's right. And tell everyone that the most beautiful nation is in the wilderness of North America.
Come on now.
That's right. Now I want you to think about that. Now you looking at us, you walk outside this door, and you think to yourself, these people crazy as you know what. He can't be talking about us. I mean, these people, our people out here. But yet he is. Because we have more potential to be beautiful than any other people in the world. And so he's saying that, you know, the nation that he's talking about is not just the people that registered in the mosque, right?
Right. Come on now.
Okay, so I don't want us to get it twisted, that somehow we think that we have our white garments, our bow ties, and our shiny faces, and our FOI uniform, that somehow that he's saying that it's just us that's the nation of Islam.
Right.
He said his best followers, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, is still out there.
That's right.
So he talking about the brother on the block with all the tattoos all over every part of his face. Talking about him.
That's the brother.
Talking about him. Most beautiful nation is in the wilderness of North America. So that means that we have a job to do. Because we got to teach what? We got to keep our duty. We got to teach and what do they call them around here, Brother Derek? Savage. Thank you, savage. So they call themselves savage, so we should be able to go just say savage. And they should answer immediately. We only had to go through that, right? This is what they saw, a savage country. This is a country of the savage. Okay. So the resurrection of the black man is the next phase on how to manifest the beauty in the black man. Now this is where we have to go. And of course you see the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now I want us to drink in this picture. Because we've seen it before. But I want us to drink in this picture. Now I want us to look at where is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad standing in position to this person?
Behind
him. He's not standing in front of him, he's standing behind him. And of course, the brother is sitting on the bench at first, right? And then what happens?
Waking him up.
That's right, he's waking him up, but he's doing what?
Cleaning them up.
He's moving it.
Yeah.
So this is one stage. This is the next stage. Then he stands up, and he's still bent. He ain't upright yet. And look at that, he upright. You can put a ruler on that back right there. That's upright. And look, then have enough nerve to put some shine on that shoe. See that shine? And he got his briefcase as a businessman. That's right, got his head up, nose in the air. Oh, he black. He always black. That's right. Oh, praise him to the Lord. As opposed to what they say that your faces shall be white. No, your faces shall be black once you be a resurrected man. Praise be to Allah. Now, with that being said, you see they have all his vices up under here. So drink this in. He's behind us. He's not in front of us. He's inviting us to the truth. Right? So that's what our job is. That's what our job is. Male and female. So Allah came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad and made himself known July 4th, 1930 in Detroit, Michigan. The resurrection process. He met with Elijah Poole. Elijah Poole was this man right here. He was a drunken man. He was a man without any education. He had vices. He was on, like they say, the welfare. Not on welfare, but the welfare. And he met with Elijah Poole, who became the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, met with Master Farah Muhammad in September of 1931. Okay? Master Farah Muhammad taught the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for 3 years and 4 months. A process. What if we were to tell you that we want you to come, Brother Ed, to the mosque at 8 o'clock in the morning, starting this Monday, right? And we'll let you leave at 8 o'clock at night, and we're going to teach you for 3 years and 4 months, and that's all you can do. Brother Ed said, I don't know about all that. But that's what happened. That's what happened. He taught them like that. What kind of education is that? They stayed together day and night. And then I just want to speak on this little story that I heard the other day. And I see I'm going to have to bring my talk to a close. And inshallah, maybe we can finish up some other time. But, sir? Okay. I heard Brother Jabril speaking the other day. Said that the relationship that Master Farah Muhammad had with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was like the relationship of a man to a woman. It ain't nothing funny, okay? So don't get it twisted. It was a love story, but it wasn't that kind of love story. Okay? Said that he wooed him. Y'all know about wooing a woman? When you really like somebody, you be like, girl, you know, you be talking all sweet to her and stuff like that, sending her flowers and candy, trying to get her affections. You see? Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he wooed him like a man woos a woman. Said that one day, and this was in Detroit, so I want to put it in context. It's cold in Detroit, right? Said the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was cold. Master Farah Muhammad told him, asked him if he was cold, told him to come close to him. Now that's man talking about close. For a man to feel that comfortable with another man, that means he absolutely trusted him. He said he was 100% convert to the teachings of Master Farah Muhammad. That's how we have to get. Whatever's stopping us and impeding us from becoming a 100% convert, we need to get rid of that.
Come on now.
Because that's holding up the rise. That's holding up our own personal resurrection, but it's holding up the resurrection of the people. Because we're not committed 100%. We haven't been converted 100%. You know what a convert means? When you convert something, that means that you take it from one use, okay? Like say for instance, when you travel abroad, this is the thing that I can think about right now. You know, they don't have like the 2 prongs or the 3 prongs that you can plug into the wall. Their sockets are configured differently. So before you leave America, you buy something that's called a converter, right? And so you have to plug that into the wall, then you plug your device into the wall so that your device can be useful. We are the material that Allah wants to use to make a new people out of, to make a new world out of. But he can't do it until there's a converter, until we've been converted. So we're not useful. You can take your hair dryer with you when you go to Europe, but if you don't have a converter, you just have something that's just weighing down your luggage. So that's it. That's it. So we have to be 100% converted. All praises due to Allah. So we need to get with that because we're holding up the rise of 50 million black and brown people. Master Fard Muhammad made Elijah Muhammad his messenger. He made him his messenger. Now I want you to understand, and we say that, but when somebody's your messenger, you know, back during the, like the Persian Empire and all these different empires, they didn't have these nice cell phones that they could just send a message to the next country. So whenever they wanted to send a message, what did they have to do? They needed a messenger. Well, if the messenger would mess up your message. Well, then what? Yeah. The Xerxes will be coming in chopping, what's his name? The Spartan? Leonidas. He chopped his head off. Because the messenger came and brought the wrong, I think he chopped it off anyway. I think that was the story. And kicked him in the well. Okay, so anyway, think about this. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of God. Do you know what message he was carrying? The message of God. So what do you think that you could be half converted to that?
No.
To carry God's message? But let me ask you this. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
You're the messenger of Allah.
Right.
To whomever you go. So when we have these impediments in us and the message comes from out of us, what happens?
Miss the message.
We send people on in the wrong direction because of all kind of homicides and all kind of stuff that we just crazy. So let's get with this. Okay. He taught Elijah into the knowledge of God. Not just, you know, what Master Fard Muhammad studied in his 42 years. He brought him all the way back into the mind of the originator. Think about that. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to bring that to us. And if you had a messed up mind, do you know what kind of mischief you can make with that?
Right.
I mean, all we have to do is look in the mirror and we can tell that. We make mischief with the teachers all the time. When we don't want to do something, we justify it. We see somebody else doing something, we just crazy. Okay? But we don't have to be crazy today because we have a messenger and we have a perfect example in our midst.
Right.
Okay. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the first begotten of the dead. The resurrection process has begun. Now, okay, I might be able to finish. The love of the believing black man. Love is the creative force. This is the thing that absolutely brings that beauty all the way to its final stages. It's love. And that's a picture of a beautiful couple, FOINGT, with the brothers forming an arch over their union. Beautiful. Love. You know, you can't be a man without a woman, right?
Come on.
Okay. Now, Sister Gabrielle, you come help me out because I don't think this is going to play like this. The black man. The beauty of the black man will kill for what he loves.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay? And I don't make no mistake. I mean, I don't cut words, miss words. He'll kill. And you should. It's graphic.
You don't need that. What's corporate number? Because the only thing I asked him was for corporate number. That's the only thing he asked me. I'm going to go down and get the card from there. I heard the info. No, because Goldie was sitting here talking crazy to me. No, but that's not what you're going to do to me. You're not going to grab on me like that. No. Come on, PD. Let's just go outside. Please talk to you separately. Because he just come here and just grab on me like for no reason. I don't think I was doing. Yeah, see what else? what they want. Why is y'all pushing her? They not doing nothing. Like, what are y'all doing? No, y'all ain't really doing stuff to me. What are you doing?
Not to break your arm. That's what I'm about to do.
You have to break her arm.
Two of them take a little one.
Like, what are y'all doing? No, y'all got a good about it and everything. What's going on? No, I understand it. Trying to understand what's going on. Y'all ain't even stop watching me. Y'all ain't even telling me what I'm doing. Like, what? Y'all can't tell me. Take your gun over. Take your gun over. What am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong? Y'all haven't told me anything that I did wrong. Y'all haven't told me anything that I did wrong. Y'all got her head behind her back. Right. I don't have anything. No, y'all fix it. Y'all got it.
A man should kill. You didn't hear me, brothers. I say it again, brother. We ought to be #1 killers on the earth to keep any man away from our woman. Yes. When I was coming back from Iraq, before the war broke out, there was an African brother that I met in Baghdad. I met him once in Washington, D.C. He's a very wealthy black man. But he said to me, Brother Farrakhan, I would like to come back to the United States, but I would like to be a citizen and get a green card. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering, do you know any women or woman that I could take up with? In other words, we make an arrangement. My son is my witness. I said, brother, I will kill you.
Come on.
And he's a black man like myself. But you know what the hell I'll do to somebody else? He's my brother, but I'll chop his damn head off over this. Yeah, brother, I want you to hear me well. Because we will kill you over these. Any of you that want protection, you come here. Yeah, we'll kill concrete over you.
Okay, there you have it. So the black man, that's love, and that's beautiful. If you want a woman to think that you're beautiful, that's exactly, you can leave it there. Yeah. And that's the kind of love that a black man has. That's the kind of fearlessness that Islam puts in the black man.
That's right.
Okay? Because I'm sure there was some black men in that restaurant.
Yep,
Just
probably.
looking at that. Right. So you need to ask yourself, like Brother Derek said, how would you respond in a situation like that? You need to go over that in your mind. You need to be willing to take a bullet. There's no way you can let the black woman sit up there and be treated like that. You got to take it. And then if it goes down on video, then you will be living like Brother Derek said about the man in the boat. People will be talking about you forever and ever. You see. A black man is a defender of what he loves. You can go ahead and play that, because we're running down out of time. You wanted to do
Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on.
And go back to the PowerPoint, because I want to start it where at a certain point.
Who says black fathers do not defend their children? Check this video out of Georgia, where this black father was not at all happy, and for the third time the school year, the school lost track of his 5-year-old daughter.
That's transportation. That's a separate.
It was a teacher that told him.
Y'all allow these buses to come pick these kids up, therefore you're responsible.
No, sir. When
You're
they get on the
responsible.
bus,
Wait,
they
no,
decide if they can
no.
take over.
I release my child to get on your bus to come to your school. Until my child makes it home through my door, you're responsible for my child, not me. You are. Until my child reaches back down, where I live, you're responsible for my child getting home. No, I don't care. Y'all didn't care nothing about my kid when she was missing for 3 times. This is the 3rd time. And you want to talk to me about somebody else's kid and you ain't care about mine? Don't ask me to be calm. Don't patronize me. Don't chastise me. Don't do it. And you doing it now. So stop. Because it's the 3rd time. I don't care about nobody else's kid out there. And you know what? They need to hear this so they understand what y'all trying to cover up. That y'all losing people's kids. You can hear what's going on. You want to know what's going on? Step your ass in here. That's what you can do. Step in here. The 3rd time that my daughter has been lost. Do you want to talk? Because we can talk. Step in. No, we're not going nowhere. We're going to stand right here.
Let me write something down.
It ain't nothing for you to write down. What you want to write down? What you want to write down?
This is the first.
But this is my 3rd time, though. Understand that as a father. This is my 3rd time that y'all have lost my 5-year-old daughter, my baby. This is the 3rd time y'all lost her. And my son called me from the bus crying, wondering where his damn sister is. This is the 3rd time.
And it's crazy that none of y'all heard about this.
Right.
This happened
And the
3 times.
2nd time, y'all tell me that if we don't come get her by 4 o'clock, y'all ain't responsible for her.
That's what the lady who sits right there, she said to me. She said that there's a teacher's party at 4 o'clock, and so after 4 o'clock, she's not responsible for my child because she has to go to a teacher's party.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm going to apologize for that. I was off campus yesterday. That's why.
He said that he was on the bus just a minute ago. He was screaming and crying and telling the bus driver, don't pull up. I need to get off the bus because I'm not allowed to leave.
Step your ass in here. Tristan King was angry at the staff of Norton Elementary School in Snellville, Georgia, 45 minutes northeast of Atlanta. The school
Okay, well, there you go. Okay, I don't want to go on a sour note, but the reality of it is that, this is the world that we live in. This is the fight that we face. But the black man is absolutely equipped to do and handle all of his business as a man.
That's right.
And when he comes into this body of knowledge and he drinks it into himself, he's absolutely courageous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's absolutely fearless.
Mm-hmm.
He is absolutely beautiful because his faith has transformed him. They have the cartoon of Beauty and the Beast, and it talks about our behavior being like on a beast level, but love, not just love for the woman, not just love for the children, but love for God. But this body of knowledge absolutely transforms us into God.
That's right.
So, with that being said, I just once again want to salute my brothers.
That's right.
And may Allah continue for us all to grow, stage by stage, into becoming God, into becoming like Master Farah Muhammad. So, with that being said, I'd like to greet you with the greeting words of peace of As-salamu alaikum.
Are you listening? Damn.